principals. Today I'm going to talk to you about the diagnostic tool, which is really helpful in the moment of change. Okay, so in any organizations, there are always change that would occur. So this is the TCP tools is actually a useful tool which will help you which will help you diagnose where are the area of change, the area that needed improvements, and it will provide clarity to all members of the organization. Okay, so let's look at the example. If you flip through to in your file, flip to page 34, there's the strand of the strategic rope. Okay, so just imagine that you've got the different components that actually goes into the change, how you would actually implement the change, the mechanism of going around to the changes and the elements of the change. Okay, so the rope are the fundamentals that will bind the changes together. So what happens is that, what happens if the rope is untied? Okay, so the TCP, if you imagine it in terms of the three strands of the rope, that is the technical strand, the cultural strand, and the political strand. These three strands should be intertwined together, and they should be binded strong together in order to give you a strong rope to bind your elements in the strategic change together. Okay, so now when you've understand about the three different strands, we can then move on to the TCP matrix. Okay, so it is related to the change that are undergoing in the organization. So what we have there is a T, P, and the C at the left-hand side of the matrix, and at the top we've got the mission and strategy, the organization structure, and the human resource management system. Okay, so these are the three different areas that should be in line with the three strands. Okay, so let me give you an example then of the vision of the Faculty of Business Economics and Policy Studies at the university. Okay, so the mission of FIBABS is that we aim to be the top 10 university business schools, the top 10 business schools in the region. Okay, so everyone in the organization should be informed of the mission of the organization and what are we achieving to be. Okay, so this is the measurable outcome of the mission of the organization. In terms of political and in line with the mission and strategy, who are the key people that will actually be involved in the change? Okay, so who are the key people? In my faculty, the dean and the deputy dean are the key people. The deputy dean and also the program leaders are involved in the mission on trying to establish our business school as the top business school in the region. And finally, the culture. What are the values of the faculty that are being implemented and also be embedded across the whole faculty? Okay, so it's known that we should be innovative, be research oriented, and also be entrepreneurial. Okay, so these are the three values that are understood by all members of the faculty. So when we go to the second area, there is the organizational structure in relation to technical. What is the structure of FIBABS at the moment? Okay, so in order to align ourselves to achieving this mission, we have our dean, who is at the top, supported by the deputy dean, and we've got the program leader of the 4 different disciplines reporting to the deputy dean and the dean. So this is the organization structure that would help achieve the faculty as being the top 10 business school in the region. Political. What is the power distribution of the faculty? who are the key decision maker in, we have identified that the dean and the deputy dean are the people who actually make most of the decisions in the faculty. Culture. Okay, so we aim to be a top 10 business school. So therefore, the culture that would exist in our faculty are the research culture, because most business schools are oriented towards a research culture. So we would have the sub-culture that would help us in developing our research. So one of the subculture that we do emphasize is having the senior staff mentoring the junior staff. Okay, because the junior staff do lack the knowledge and the experience in publishing. And for HRM, it is the procedures and policies that relates to human resources in the faculty. So in terms of the technicality that are involved in HRM, how are the staff being assessed? Okay, what are the measurable assessment of the staff in the faculty? So it will be by research, by research publication. And are we employing the right people? Do we have the right people in order to achieve our mission of being the top 10 business school in the region? Okay, so in terms of political and HRM, how are good performing researcher being rewarded? So there should always be a reward system in the organization, reward system. So let's say, for example, a lecturer has published 5 articles in top rated journals. Okay, so these researchers who did achieve his or her target would be rewarded monetarily or maybe non-financial rewards. Okay, so these are the discretion of the deans. And finally, at the final metrics here, final grid here, how do we actually manage the reward system? So it's about the management of reward system. And also, it would give us an indication of, do we need extra people in certain field? Extra staff, strength to support our mission of being the top 10 business school. Okay, so from this simple example from our faculty, we can see that this is a tool that gives us an overview of where we are currently and how are we embracing ourselves to the change of achieving our mission of being the top 10 business school. Okay, so what I'd like you to do now is that take 5 minutes of your time and sit down quietly by yourself and fill in the... Okay, so if you flip to page 36, you have an empty grid there, so sit down quietly and write down where are you currently in your school team and how are you embracing yourself to the SPN 21. Okay, so that is your first task. Second task, I'd like you to actually assess how well the school is in terms of adapting to the SPN 21 changes. Okay, so give yourself a rating from 1 to 5, where 5 says that, oh, it's fantastic, everyone is clear about the mission, reward systems are there, so you give it a 5, whereas 1 is that it's not functional, things are not needed, there lacks clarity, so more works are needed in that area. Okay, so give your second task is to give a score for each of the individual grades, and finally you will come together with your school team and you will actually put down all your scores and give an average, and finally is that pick 1 or 2 cells which you think that it needs more area and give an explanation into why that area needed more attention. Yeah, so any questions?